Welcome to Culpamland's Masterclass series. Each video will dive deep into the creation of Culpamland's episodes. From screenwriting to animating, this series will go behind the scenes and teach you how to create your own animated series. Lesson 1. How to write a screenplay. Before we start writing, we need to plan our episode. The episode we'll be breaking down is I Just Got Dumped. A flamboyant dragon who gets dumped but doesn't know why. The episode sees him backtrack through the recent events to see why his boyfriend broke up with him. Writing a screenplay requires you to understand the format of a script. Fade in indicates that the screenplay has started. Scene heading, the location and time of day. The scene number. Action, what's happening in the scene. Character, which character is speaking. Dialogue, lines of speech. Parentheses, extra information on how the character should say the line. Shot, which camera angle to be used in the scene. And fade out. This episode uses the 7-point story structure. The video starts at the hook moment, that being, I just got dumped. This gets the audience fully engaged as they are introduced with the problem. The story will reveal more information as it continues. The first 15 seconds should answer these questions. Which characters are the focal point? Where is the main location going to take place? And what problems do these characters need to solve? Did you know that there are 6 other conventional narrative structures, the most recognizable being the hero's journey? Freytag's pyramid, a formula for tragedy. The 3-act structure. The Fichte curve. In medias res, and save the cat. Whichever structure you choose, plot and story elements are important as they help drive the characters when they try to solve their problems. We'll need to write the treatment, a rough outline of the episode. Matisse gets dumped, but doesn't know why. He starts to consult with his friend Boris about the past events to see if they can figure out what happened. As Matisse recites the story, Boris slowly realizes that Matisse's invasive and toxic nature is the reason for the relationship's demise. From disrupting the routine to an unplanned house party, the answer was there all along. Matisse was the reason why he got dumped. Story elements within this episode include a relationship, the boyfriend, and his new studio flat. Even though the subject of this episode is grounded, Culpamland is a fantasy. It is important to establish some rules. Culpamland is set in a tropical utopia inspired by Cuba and India. Only mythical creatures and beasts live in this world, no humans. Even though it is a fantasy, there is no magic, no potions, or any elements that will help them conveniently get out of a situation. Your world should have some grounded information so the audience can register and be synced with the episode. These characters are dragons and talking animals, and they too need to eat, sleep, and work. To ensure that the characters in your screenplay are grounded, the problems that they are trying to solve must be relatable. Matisse has been dumped as he has threatened the security, employment, and even the health of his boyfriend. Maslow's hierarchy of needs illustrates the chart of which needs are crucial for us as human beings. Physiological needs such as air, water, and sleep are important as we need them to survive. To bring tension and conflict throughout your screenplay, remove their necessities. Primal urges such as survival, hunger, and protection might be a good place to start. For the audience to care for the characters in your screenplay, one of these factors must be challenged as we can relate to them. Being dumped is one of them. Blake Snyder's Save the Cat states that the characters must follow this rule of thumb. Can you identify with the characters? Do you believe that they deserve to win? Can you relate to their problem? Most audience members can relate to the character's plight throughout this episode. The accountant, who must deal with everybody's mess. The rhino, who wants to be left alone. The dragon, who wants to be loved but gets dumped. Each of these characters has their own set of values, which the audience can relate to. Many viewers felt sorry for Matisse despite being destructive. Some may relate to the isolated nature of Boris, and others may feel the pain of the accountant. The reason why this episode works is due to one thing: conflict. Conflict is what drives the story. There are 5 types of conflict. Information, something was missing or incomplete. Environment, something in the environment leads to conflict. Skills, people lack the skills to complete their work. Values, a clash of personal values that leads to conflict. Identity, the character's sense of identity puts them at odds with others. The start of the episode introduces a crying dragon who claims, "I just got dumped." He further stresses, "I just don't get it. It happened out of nowhere. He loved me and then he dumped me." This quote highlights the first type of conflict, information. He doesn't know why he got dumped. As he states the story, it's revealed that values are a part of the conflict. Matisse likes to decorate, the accountant doesn't. Matisse is amorous. His boyfriend? Not so much. To ensure that the story progresses, the characters must have conflict. In order to have conflict, you must set their values. Goals, motives, and beliefs. To help inform yourself with your character's desires, using an enneagram can help categorize their values. The reformer, the helper, the achiever, the individualist, the investigator, the loyalist, the enthusiast, the challenger, and the peacemaker. The accountant, reformer, principal, self-controlled, and perfectionist. Goal, to have Matisse move in for practical reasons, spend more time working instead of dating. Motives, throughout the relationship, Matisse wishes to spend countless of hours dating and spending excess amounts of money. After attending so many dates, the accountant has found himself slacking with reports and bills. Belief, that business is more important than pleasure. Matisse, individualist, expressive, dramatic, self-absorbed. Goal, to have a relationship and a place he has always dreamed of. Motives, after spending so many years being told what to do and hiding his sexuality, Matisse wishes to indulge into his fantasies and pleasures. Belief, to live life to the fullest with not a care in the world. With these allocated traits and values, the characters will have conflict throughout the story. To ensure that the conflict throughout the story is concise, use South Park's "but therefore" method. Matisse is crying, claiming he got dumped. But Boris doesn't care. Therefore, he closes the door on the dragon. But Matisse barges in and cries on Boris's bed. Therefore, Boris asks, "Can you go away, please?" But Matisse doesn't. This technique is heavily used throughout Culpamland's episodes. Matisse's habits and behaviors create a domino effect towards the defining climax. Each action has an equal and opposite reaction. Boris then asks,
"If I listen to your story, will you leave?"
a pivotal moment in this episode, the point of no return. This line acts as a deal. Matisse will leave if Boris listens and then answers to the dragon's story. In order to maintain rhythm throughout the screenplay, this plot uses plot A and plot B. As Matisse starts this story, we cut to a few hours earlier. Boris asks the questions that the audience is thinking. Matisse will then answer them. This technique is called Meanwhile Back at the Ranch, where the film hops from storyline to storyline to help break boredom. This episode does this. However, it shows plot B in a different time period, that being the past. Eventually, the two plots sync together and finish at the present time. Plot B is mainly set at the accountant's flat, whereas plot A is based in Boris's shack. The locations in Culpamland show the difference in social classes, a clean studio flat versus a slum shack. Subconsciously, the viewer can make assumptions on the character's goals, beliefs, and values, which leads to the next segment. Show, don't tell. Screenplays, especially animations, are a visual medium. Don't make the characters say that they are angry, show it. Having offbeat moments to show and don't tell can have more of an impact than a line of dialogue. After Matisse changes the general decor in the studio flat, the boyfriend's expression says it all. Plot B starts off in the sunshine. The dragon's optimism is highlighted through the weather. Pathetic fallacy, where the character's emotions are personified through weather or objects. Colours are allocated to characters. Blue to the accountant, purple for Matisse, leaving yellow with Boris. Throughout the episode, Matisse changes the studio flat so that purple is the most dominant colour. This shows how Matisse is slowly in control of the domain. He values his idealistic goals more so than maintaining the relationship. When the scene is set in Boris's shack, the prominent colour is yellow, the opposite to purple. This shows that Matisse doesn't belong in this location. A small detail to take account of is this: the clock and two portraits of the characters. Whenever the screenplay is focusing on a particular character, the clock's hands point in their favour. For instance, at dinner, the lights are purple, and the hands point towards Matisse's portrait as he is in charge. Allowing the environment to display information to aid the story will prove beneficial for world building. Throughout the episode, there is a recurring piece of information. The report is due. This acts as both foreshadowing and the catalyst. A catalyst is the inciting instant, the action or event that changes the story. Matisse incited the end of the relationship due to the house party and the foul report. To further stress the effect of Matisse's actions, the accountant gets fired. The phone call is pivotal, as it acts as a point of cohesion. The boss describing his reasons for firing the accountant also correlates with how the accountant feels towards Matisse.
You have embarrassed me, the company, and most importantly, you.
Matisse has humiliated his boyfriend in front of his neighbors, friends, and strangers.
I have no choice but to terminate your contract effective immediately.
The relationship has ended.
And to think I was going to promote you.
To take the relationship to the next stage.
I should have never let you deal with the company's finances.
Matisse should not have dealt with the report. Notice how throughout this monologue the environment is in sync. Show don't tell is explored even further here. The eviction notice stands as a symbol for the end of the relationship. The silhouetted characters situate themselves around the flat. These are strangers according to the accountant. The briefcase is set on fire. He is being fired. The framed photo of the couple falls, implying the end of the relationship. At the end of the screenplay, these questions should be answered. What were the characters' wants and desires? Does the environment pose a threat or serve a function for the protagonist? When does the protagonist have their point of no return? Does the audience want their protagonist to win? To conclude, understand your characters' wants and their desires. Set their goals, beliefs, and motives. Ensure that every character has a different value. This will introduce conflict. Once you have figured out your character's motives, set a goal for them to achieve. Show how the environment is being affected by their actions. Use show, don't tell, with certain emotions, motifs, and pinnacle moments. Most importantly, make the characters likable so the audience will want to follow their story.